The Hollywood Reporter has since published a couple articles where they kind of connected the two things, the California Post story and this mass email about the Daily Mail story. David Canfield wrote a piece about it on Thursday with the headline, "Has Oscar Season's Messy Side Come for Marty Supreme?" So that's kind of where we're at of what's been going on the past week. Craig, do you think that we now have conclusive evidence that somebody is organizing a hit on Marty Supreme? And if so, who do you think is behind it? Boa noite. Bem-vindos. I'm not going to do it again. But welcome to your favorite 100% Brazilian owned and operated podcast about the Academy Awards and Hollywood history. It's Oscars Outsider. Hey, everybody. My name is Dylan Ferguson. I'm your host. And with me, as always, is co-host Craig Midwinter. Hey, Craig.
Hey.
And of course, we have with us a very special guest. Once again, everybody's favorite. He's coming to us from his residence in Recife, where he was born and raised. Muy compañero brasileiro, Sean O'Rourke. Hey, Sean.
Yeah, good to be back. I actually just got back from the town that Henry Ford built down here a while ago.
Nice. Okay, they still got that going, do they? All right.
Yeah, we're bringing it back.
Nice. You never have too many tires. So we have a really, really good show for you tonight, I think. I'm really stoked for this one. So this is something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. Very simple gimmick that should be a lot of fun. I've asked everybody to each pick their 5 favorite Best Picture winning films from Academy Awards history. And we're each going to reveal our picks one at a time. And then we're going to do our 5 most hated Best Picture winners right after. So this should be a lot of fun. We are going to be talking about the movie Bugonia a little bit later. And before we do, we always like to start off things with a little bit of news and gossip for this year's awards race. You know what I want to start things off with? So Craig, you touched on something briefly last episode, and I think it's developed a lot in the past week. So I think I want to get into this. It seems like we might have a smear campaign on our hands.
Yeah.
Targeting Marty Supreme. So I would just like to resume kind of what's happened in the past week in terms of this potential smear campaign. So on Monday the 26th, about a week ago, we're recording this on Tuesday. Monday the 26th saw the debut of the California Post, which if you don't know what the California Post is, well, you know the New York Post, the New York newspaper that's a tabloid newspaper that's famous for punny headlines and a right-wing slant and gossip. The Murdoch family that runs the New York Post has just opened a California version of it called the California Post. They actually poached some pretty good talent to work for that, oddly enough. Maybe trying to take advantage of a slightly more right-wing friendly media environment in Los Angeles these days. So the first edition of the California Post came out, and on the cover of the first print edition was the Safdie brothers. They did like the classic like breakup photo, you know, like an image of a photo being torn in half. Nice, yeah. On one half, you've got Josh Safdie directing Timmy Chalamet on the set of Marty Supreme. The other half is Benny with The Rock. A little graphic of an Academy Award with the giant words, Oscar Wilde. Bit of a stretch, but I'll take it. And then the headline underneath it, shocking truth behind director Safdie brothers mystery split. So what the story is about.
We're going to get them to do our YouTube thumbnail as well.
Oh, please. I wish we had New York Post style game for our YouTube thumbnails. So the story was written by Tatiana Siegel, who was one of those people who was poached to write for the California Post. She used to be an editor at Variety. She used to work with the Hollywood Reporter. And it concerns, something that happened in 2017 during the filming of Good Time. Now, this had already come out, as we discussed on the previous episode. It had already come out that there was an incident of sexual assault on the set of Good Time. Essentially, there was one of the performers, a non-professional who has a long criminal record, had just come out of prison, sexually assaulted a performer who was a 17-year-old girl. And both Safdies were on set. Apparently Josh was filming and Benny was holding the boom mic, and they basically filmed the scene and didn't intervene, as the story goes. And this came to light in 2022, I believe, as part of part of Emily Ratajkowski's divorce proceedings, because Emily Ratajkowski was divorcing the Safdie brothers' producing partner, Sebastian Bier-McLeod, and it was apparently him who found the 17-year-old girl and brought her to set and had an affair with her too, allegedly. Sordid story. And obviously there's a lot of criticism to go around for everybody involved for mishandling the situation. Why it's coming back now is that this California Post story is saying that, according to sources close to the Safdie brothers, unnamed sources, no sources are named in the story for what it's worth, it has emerged that this was the reason why they split creatively. Long story short, because apparently Josh Safdie found out later that same day that the incident happened that the girl who was assaulted was underage and did not share the information with Benny. And Benny found out that she was underage when it became a news story, our minor news story in 2022. He got angry with Josh for sweeping it under the rug, not keeping him in the loop about that incriminating detail. And that was the origin of their split. That's the allegation being made in this story. Why is it coming out now is kind of the question a lot of people are asking. This drops the same week that Oscar voting opens. And what also happens in the past week that made people a lot more curious about what's going on is that, well, there was a story in the Daily Mail, the British tabloid, a little bit earlier, where they basically invited some family members, the children and grandchildren of Marty Reisman, to watch Marty Supreme. Marty Reisman was a American tennis pro and tennis hustler from the mid-century New York, who was the loose inspiration for Marty Mauser, the character in Marty Supreme. The Daily Mail got his family members to kind of badmouth the movie and say that it was an insult to his memory, that they weren't consulted, they never got any money, etc. Nothing too shocking about the story in itself. Is that what was a little bit shocking was that around the same time that Monday, Tuesday of last week that the California Post story came out, there was a mass email sent to a bunch of journalists in Hollywood, a bunch of media and entertainment journalists, that was linking to this Daily Mail story from a mysterious account or an unknown account, where the person who linked to this story wrote something up about how isn't this terrible, and he sums up his little spiel with never reward any filmmaker who embellishes the truth, especially when it reprehensively profits off of one who is no longer alive, along with their beleaguered families. This gained some attention when one of the journalists who was sent this email, Sonny Bunch, made a post on X where he shared a screen grab of the email with his commentary. Between this and the California Post story on the Safdie split, someone's really running an old school Weinstein-style smear campaign against Marty Supreme. The Hollywood Reporter has since published a couple articles where they kind of connected the two things, the California Post story and this mass email about the Daily Mail story. David Canfield wrote a piece about it on Thursday with the headline, "Has Oscar Season's Messy Side Come for Marty Supreme?" So that's kind of where we're at of what's been going on the past week. Craig, do you think that we now have conclusive evidence that somebody is organizing a hit on Marty Supreme? And if so, who do you think is behind it?
So I actually, like, sitting on this a little bit, I am not so sure that this is necessarily a coordinated effort. I think that the fact that the California Post would be looking for something to make a big splash with for their like opening edition makes a lot more sense than it being a coordinated attack, just because like I can't think of who would be behind this, who would be like threatened by Marty Supreme. I feel like Marty Supreme is maybe only win competitive in like Best Actor for the most part. I don't think it stands a huge chance in a lot of other categories, maybe like production design or something like that. But I just don't see this being like a huge player. And the fact that this isn't directed at Timothée Chalamet makes me believe that, you know, this is just trying to profit off of the idea that there might be a smear campaign. And it's the kind of thing that like right now is the perfect time for that type of mudslinging, so it's going to get some momentum. But I'm not entirely sure that this is actually a coordinated smear campaign coming from one of the other film or studios. But I don't know. I can't think of who has enough motivation to target Marty Supreme specifically, because it just seems like it is like, if anything, it could maybe be something that it's able to overcome and like put more attention on Timothy Chalamet. But the other thing that is interesting right now is that Kevin O'Leary is also going on a bit of a like pro-Trump tour right now, which is also not helping that film. But again, it's not really something that feels like it's an external entity that is behind it. But open to your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the fact that this is happening kind of at the same time the week that Oscar voting opens makes it feel like super suspect. I agree absolutely with what you said, that if a rival studio was trying to target a movie, targeting Marty Supreme seems a little weird if we're talking about the Best Picture race, because it doesn't really seem, the conventional wisdom holds that it doesn't have a big shot at winning Best Picture. Conventional wisdom holds that if one battle after another loses, it will be to Sinners, and the other 8 candidates are basically in happy to be here territory. So it would make most sense if it was something meant to dim Timothy Chalamet's odds of winning, because, as you said, he is the one person attached to that movie who seems likely to win. Nothing about this seems to be attacking Timothy Chalamet, but you could argue that they're just trying to stain the movie, assuming that some of that grime will wash off on him, that people will not want to vote for an actor for a movie that seems now especially seedy, especially in the gutter. Enough evidence to say that there's definitely like a rival studio behind it. No, I don't think like we could say that for sure. It's fun to speculate. It's also fun to speculate about who it could be. If let's say that somebody's trying to attack Timmy Chalamet, who do you think could be behind there?
So my gut says not Leo, since he already has an Oscar. It's not like there's a lot of desperation there.
But Leo's got to be the most well-connected one. If he's the guy who can like make a phone call to some like Israeli intelligence agency and like cook something up for me, he's the guy who's going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like we've talked about him being possibly in the best.
I don't see Ethan Hawke doing that. I'll say that.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing that makes sense. And the fact that he's got 2 already, I feel like he's got one. Or he's got 1, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going for a second.
Is it ever enough?
Yeah, I don't know.
One theory that's been floated out, which I think is kind of preposterous, but funny all the same, is that Benny Safdie is behind it. I had heard that as well. Yeah. Which I like that. I think that's funny to think that he just like really wants, that he's so bitter about the Smashing Machine bombing that he's like, I got to make sure that Josh's movie gets nothing.
It's kind of in line with the characters that he like portrays as an actor, to just like go like really dirty and do that. So it's a funny theory.
Yeah. Sean, who do you hope would be behind this smear campaign, if it is a smear campaign?
All I know is that I've seen reporting that I really trust from The Onion that says that the Safdie parents love both of the films equally. So I don't know about a sibling rivalry. I don't know. The funniest, Tom Holland. Just got beef with Timmy.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him being jealous of Timmy. I could see him being like, I should be getting Oscars. Why isn't anybody nominating me for
what's he gonna
whatever movies
for?
Whatever movie, Uncharted or I don't know.
Yeah, Subway presents Tom Holland's Uncharted.
Craig, has there any other news that you've seen concerning the Oscar race this past week that you think needs to be hashed out?
So it has been kind of a light week aside from what's going on with the Marty Supreme stuff. I collected a few headlines here. I mean, one of the things that I saw was that Guillermo del Toro did the Criterion Closet. Good timing for that. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but definitely out there, kind of grinding it out. We'll see what he chose. Not really relevant to the race, but Spielberg completed the competitive EGOT this week with a Grammy win for music by John Williams. So that's that's great for him. Also at the Grammys, Diane Warren was mistaken by many people for Ghislaine Maxwell, and so see how that impacts her chances. Actress Rose Byrne named Harvard's Hasty Pudding Woman of the Year. So maybe there's a bit of a surge coming from the pudding woman. I don't know what that means. I didn't read. I just saw the headline, had to clip it, and didn't dive into it too much further. It's one of those stories that I feel like is better in your imagination than it could actually ever be. Yeah,
sometimes a headline's just best left as a headline.
But yeah, aside from that, I haven't really seen too much of anything. I know there was like a Hollywood Reporter roundtable about Hamnet, I think it was. I saw that they announced some like a retrospective on Timothée Chalamet's career that was presented by, I think, Edward Norton, and I can't remember who else was doing them. I think Elle Fanning was one, and Christopher Nolan, I think, was another one. But I didn't see too much else going on here. How about you?
It does seem
not really.
It seems pretty early to do a retrospective of Timmy's career, doesn't it?
Of a 30-year-old, yeah, maybe a little.
Like I mean, he's done good work, but let's let it breathe a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you know who's it's A24 surely like making that happen. And I don't think the Hollywood Reporter is gonna turn down the opportunity to have those big names together. It's an Oscar season thing, I don't think it's like the dean of cinema was like, we must knight this man. It's the publicity people are pushing for that because it's good. It looks good as an Oscar season thing.
I am a little bit like concerned that this is going to be a boring season, just because it seems like there's a lot of front runners here. I'm not sure how much action we're actually going to see and like jockeying for positions. I guess one thing that I saw, the Bride came out, which is Meg Gyllenhaal's new film starring Jessie Buckley that people think is going to tank, and I've seen people posting online that this might be a situation like with Eddie Murphy when Norbit came out and tanked his chances at an Oscar while he was in contention. But I don't know how big of a factor that's going to be. What's interesting is like on Reddit, where I keep tabs on most of this stuff, I have seen a lot more people just talking about next year's Oscar season, like making like early predictions coming out of like Sundance and like
I thought I needed to get a life.
But it's interesting that there's about equal amount of chatter about what's going to happen next year as there is for the season that we're currently like in the midst of.
I will say that I just watched The Lost Bus, which surprised me when I saw it nominated for best.
Congrats on getting
effects.
Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, you're right. I got Apple TV Plus, Craig. Yeah. I crossed over into the alternate dimension where those movies exist. I logged in and then immediately, like, I just remembered that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 80s. And a cornucopia appeared on the logo of my Fruit of the Loom boxers. I had no idea that movie existed until I saw it get a nomination for Best Effects, and I just want to say it's awesome. So,
okay.
I mean, it's made for me. I love like survival disaster picks, and it's like Dante's Peak crossed with speed, so it's cool as hell. Oh, really fun. Yeah. I recommend The Lost Bus with Matthew McConaughey, directed by Paul Greengrass. Who's
nice.
Yeah, he's doing that now. I don't know what he was up to. I guess he crossed over into the world of streaming. I guess he thought he would be Paul Greenergrass on the other side. All right, so I think we should get into our feature for tonight, don't you guys?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right. So we have each picked our 5 favorite Best Picture winning films from all of Academy Awards history, all 97 years, and also our 5 most hated. Should we start with our favorites?
Let's start there. I think that's going to be less fun than the least favorite.
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on your definition of fun, but you are right. So we'll each do our number 5 pick, then we'll move on to our number 4 pick, etc. Should I start us off?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, okay. So, and at the end of this, maybe I'll leave a little bit of time if you want to throw in any like honorable mentions, any ones you had a really hard time cutting, so that haven't been brought up by somebody else. So
okay.
So if there's things that you really regret missing out on, we'll leave a bit of space for that at the end. But my number 5 pick, I went with the winner of the 89th Oscars in 2017, Moonlight. I really love Moonlight as a pick for Best Picture winner. Great choice by the Academy there. Just great movie. I really like it. Very lyrical, very well shot. If you saw that scene of learning to swim in the ocean in theaters, that you've probably never forgotten it. I love Barry Jenkins' approach that really shows the kind of wisdom of sometimes not telling the audience too much about the character, not letting them too much into the character. Sometimes that just works really well. So anyways, I love Moonlight. Great movie, and a minor spoiler for the rest of the list. Moonlight is the only movie from the 21st century that's got to be on my list. So that is my favorite Best Picture winner from the past 25 years.
Okay, nice.
Hey Craig, what's your number 5 most favorite Best Picture winner?
Okay, mine is the winner of the 49th Academy Awards, which was Rocky.
Nice.
We were talking about sports dramas, and I just think it's like such a well executed film, great performance, and obviously Sylvester Stallone. We all know he sucks now, but great,
always a legend.
Great movie, and beat out some really stiff competition. Like that was the year that Network was up for Best Picture, and Taxi Driver was also up for Best Picture. So,
also All the President's Men was up that year too.
Yeah, that's right.
The mid 70s. You look at the lineups of Best Picture nominees in the mid 70s. Some of them you're like, damn, those there's good
just
lineup.
Like a solid run of all. Like there's one year where you have like The Conversation, The Godfather 2. Maybe is Jaws that year. It's all stacked.
Yeah. That is a great pick. I also love Rocky. Awesome movie. Craig, is Rocky your favorite Rocky movie?
I mean, it's the best one, I think, but I've got a really soft spot for the Rocky Balboa, which was the legacy sequel that happened before it was like cool to do legacy sequels. It's like Sylvester Stallone reprising the role of Rocky when he is way too old to be a boxer, and it like confronting that. It's just like a really rich melodrama that is really well executed again. And I feel like not a lot of people have actually seen Rocky Balboa, and I would highly recommend that movie because it's like really well done.
Yeah, Rocky Balboa rules. I got to go with Rocky 3 as my favorite. That's just like the juiciest, tastiest one for me. But I think my hottest take maybe on the Rocky franchise is that there isn't a bad movie in it. They're all good, including the 3 Creed movies. I think they're all good. Sean, what's your favorite Rocky?
I was going to say Rocky 3.
Nice.
Rocky 3 or Rocky. I haven't seen any of the Creed movies.
Oh shit!
So
you at least got to watch the first Creed. The first Creed is Ryan Coogler's best movie in my opinion, and
nice.
it's a sick film. Really good, really good. All right, Sean, what is your number 5?
For my number 5, I have The Lost Weekend from
Ooh,
I think
nice
it's the 18th Academy Awards. My favorites, I went with a lot of just very kind of personal choices. And this one, I think I first saw when I was like 19 or 20. And before that, I kind of had the opinion like old movies have nothing to offer me. And this one kind of opened that up. And it's, I wanted like a Billy Wilder pick on there. It's one I return to a lot. Big fan of The Lost Weekend.
Yeah, that's a really good movie. All right, moving on to number 4. My number 4 pick, I also went with one kind of around the same time. The Oscars held in 1951, the 23rd, All About Eve.
Okay, nice.
Joseph L. Mankiewicz movie. I really love Joseph L. Mankiewicz as a writer, one of my absolute favorite writers in film history. I don't consider that his best movie. My favorite of his is A Letter to Three Wives. But All About Eve is a really well-written movie with just a lot of like satisfying bits of dialogue, characters, plot twists, all that. That Oscars for the movies of 1950. That it kind of came down to a battle between two very good, very witty, very literate contemporary movies, All About Eve and Sunset Boulevard. And my opinion, the better one won. So it's hard to, looking at the ones from the 1940s, that's another decade where like the 70s, I'm like, oh wow, that there's a ton of good movies in there. But that's one that I really had to pick. Yeah. Craig, what do you got at number 4?
So at number 4, I've got The Departed, which I just really, really love this movie. I think it kicks so much ass, and it was really nice to have a win for Marty.
Yeah, long time coming for Marty when he finally got that one, and nothing since. What else was up that year? Let me take a look. I can't remember The Departed year that well. I'm going to take a look here. I just love
06.
Yeah. The 06 Oscars for the movies of 05. Babel, Letters from Iwo Jima, Little Miss Sunshine, The Queen. Yeah, they picked the right one. One. That's a kind of a weak year. Honestly, yeah, pretty fucking weak year there. All right, Sean, what do you got?
I almost had The Departed. It was one of my honorable mentions. I just cut it because I love a movie about a Boston shithead, or several of them. My number 4, I have The Silence of the Lambs from, I think it was the 64th, which is one I saw when I was really young and I liked it, but I've returned to a lot more as an adult, and I think has really like become a template for how I look at a thriller. I really, really, really like the way that, is it Jonathan Demme or Jonathan Demme?
I've always said Demme my whole life, but now you're making me doubt.
Okay, well, Mr. D.
Yeah.
I really like the way that he uses like the point of view stuff to get the sense that like all the men are just leering at you throughout the whole movie. And yeah, just something I come back to a lot, and I love to see a thriller take home the prize.
Absolute masterclass in directing, in my opinion. Like just the every choice made in that movie, like you said, the choices of perspective that changes throughout the film is insane. Yeah, total masterclass from Jonathan Demme. Cool. So let's move on to our number 3 picks. My number 3 pick, I'm going to the 1970 Academy Awards for the films of 69. That was the 42nd. The winner was Midnight Cowboy. Love me some Midnight Cowboy. What a picture.
Okay,
great movie.
Nice.
Great new Hollywood era picture. One thing that's fun about Midnight Cowboy is that obviously it's a very New York movie, but a lot of the new Hollywood directors were like New York guys like Scorsese and Coppola and Cimino and Marzowski. But Midnight Cowboy is a John Schlesinger movie. He's a Brit. They got a British kitchen sink guy to do it. And I feel like somehow it just ended up being the right choice. Like I feel like having somebody who's maybe not a New Yorker might help the kind of sour fairy tale element of it that I really like. Just a very inventive movie too. I would say maybe the most formally inventive movie to ever win Best Picture at the Oscars, at least since like the early ones when cinema was still kind of being invented. It was such a great choice for them too. Like one of the rare years where you look at the movie they picked for Best Picture and you're like, oh damn, really good. And I talked briefly, Craig, that you remember about the Oscars before the 1969 Oscars, where the winner from the films of 1968, which is of course 1968, and it was a very crazy year for film, and they picked Oliver exclamation point, the Charles Dickens musical, which the Oscars have maybe never looked more out of touch than they did at that moment. So to go from that to the very next year picking Midnight Cowboy, they literally went from the only Best Picture winner to be rated G of all time to the only Best Picture winner to be rated X of all time, one year to the other, even though Midnight Cowboy's X rating is a little bit more of a myth than a reality because it was really rated R, but was anyways. Still, it just shows like how it seems like the Academy like really just got up to date really quickly. And there's some reasons for that too, like behind the scenes, like they did kind of make some updates to the voting body. They got rid of some old people. They brought in some young people. So there were some changes to the voting body that led to that being possible. But that still stands out as one moment where the Oscars really picked a good contemporary movie that actually felt like it was kind of pushing the envelope. Love Midnight Cowboy. And while I'm on the subject, I just have a little bit of trivia that I love telling people about because I feel like not many people know this, but both Bird on the Wire by Leonard Cohen and Lay Lady Lay by Bob Dylan were originally written to be the theme song for Midnight Cowboy. And they were both rejected by John Schlesinger, who apparently wanted to have Harry Nilsson, Everybody's Talking instead. Fun fact.
That's very fun.
That's a great pick, but it's the second best movie with a character named Rizzo after The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, thank you. I was texting Dylan while we were watching that. Like I was watching that movie with my kids Christmas Eve.
You're watching Midnight Cowboy with your kids?
They love John Voight.
But yeah, no, that's a great movie.
Yeah. All right, Craig, what do you got at number 3?
Okay, we're going from Marty to Marty, the 28th Academy Award winner. Marty, great performance from Ernest Borgnine, breaking type, and just it's a movie with like so much like heart and emotion, and I just love it. It feels just very, very human.
You know what? I've never seen it. That's a blind spot for me.
Oh, you've never seen Marty?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh man, yeah, you got to watch that. It's great.
You know what? I'm looking at the nominees for Best Picture at the 1955 Oscars, or held in 56, and this might be the only Oscars year where I haven't seen a single one of the movies. Wow.
Okay, you've got to see Marty. It's fantastic.
All right, I'll add it to my list for sure. Oh, it's Patty Chayefsky. Yeah. Okay. Right. Cool. Sean, number 3. What do you got?
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the 55 Oscars. Number 3, I did not write down the year, but I have No Country for Old Men.
Nice.
I like the movie a lot. I picked it mostly because I love to see the Coens get a win. I'm not even, if we did like a top 5 Coens, this might not even make my top 5 depending on the day, but love the movie. So I'm throwing it at number 3.
Nice. And while we're talking about the Best Picture nominees, I mentioned this in passing, I think, when we did our show on the Oscars, the 2010 Oscars, but the lineup was really solid that year for Best Picture nominees. I think No Country for Old Men, which won, Atonement, Juno, Michael Clayton, There Will Be Blood. Juno is probably the weak link there, but I'll go to bat for Atonement, and those are, and the other 3 are certified classics from that period. Good lineup. Okay, heading into the top 2. So my number 2 pick, I'm not exactly going to be blowing anybody's minds with my creativity, but for number 2, I went with Casablanca. Casablanca won at the 16th Academy Awards held in 1944. So obviously a wartime Oscars, and they award a wartime movie. Still one of those periods where there's just a lot of good movies being nominated. I just love everything about Casablanca. Just one of those kind of perfectly crafted movies. One bit that I really liked in Blue Moon, the new Richard Linklater movie, which I like a lot. One kind of running joke that I like a lot in the movie is how Ethan Hawke's character Lorenz Hart he kind of sees himself as like an intellectual guy, and he spends most of the movie talking with his bartender, who's a bit more of a blue collar guy, and they kind of talk past or over each other for most of the movie. But they also like keep quoting Casablanca lines to each other, and the movie's set like in the 40s. Like Casablanca was a new movie, then it just came out. And the one thing where they can like where they're totally seeing eye to eye is that they love just trading these Casablanca quotes to each other. And I feel like that kind of really captures something that feels great about that movie. It feels like such a good piece of pop culture that people who want to be a little more intellectual about cinema and want to like examine lines of dialogue and specific shots and stuff have a lot to chew on. But the richness of the movie, the story, the characters and all that is very legible and very accessible and very fun and exciting for everybody to enjoy. And that's why I feel like it's like a great piece of American pop culture that kind of just that works for everybody. It's that kind of 4-quadrant movie that it kind of works for everybody. It's a real like mainstream popular movie that just works really well.
Dirty little secret, I have never seen Casablanca.
Oh wow.
I did not see it until like last year, and yeah, it's a fucking banger. It's really good. Waited too long.
Craig, what do you got at number 2?
Number 2, I've got Return of the King, Lord of the Rings film from 76. This, I mean, I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I picked this because it feels like the last of the big, like, classical epic films that has been awarded. Everything else, like, kind of needs a gimmick now. And this was just, like, fairly straightforward, a lot of like, you know, practical big production, and I just think that it's such a fantastic film. I really love it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, I feel like at the time it was like, oh, this is a movie with a lot of CGI in it. But in retrospect, it does kind of feel like the last time you got that big epic that has that has tons of costumes, that has tons of extras, that has tons of camera tricks, that has tons of lighting tricks. You know, so much of that practical craftsmanship that used to go into making big epics. Plus a lot of CGI too, but the CGI is really supplemental. And when, you know, the Hobbit movies came out, that really kind of, which were the CGI saturated movies, that kind of reinforced how like, oh damn, when you have like 100 extras wearing chainmail suits and makeup, you know, that actually that's money well spent. Yeah, you see it on the screen. Yeah. Sean, what do you got?
For number 2, I have Moonlight.
Nice.
Okay, I fucking love Moonlight.
Great film.
You already used a word I wanted to use about it, which is lyrical. So
Snatch
I'll use a word I thought you would use about it and call it elegiac. I just think it's a really beautiful personal movie, and I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, awesome film. And you know what? I think that, like I already said, I think that's my favorite pick of the 21st century. I think that the Oscars went on a bit of a run then. The previous 2 winners, 2015, before Moonlight, was Spotlight.
I just realized my honorable mentions. It almost made my list.
And the year before that, I know this isn't everybody's cup of tea, but Birdman, I like Birdman a lot.
I love Birdman. Movie. That's another one that was.
So I feel like Birdman, Spotlight, Moonlight in 3 straight years was like 3 really good picks.
Yeah, totally.
I guess that brings
great moment when Moonlight was announced, when like La La Land was on stage to accept the award, and then they're like, "Oh wait, no." Oh, there's been a mistake.
Yeah, that was the year where they got the wrong envelope. Where I think Warren Beatty was given the wrong envelope and read out La La Land, and the La La Land producers came on stage, and then we're like, "Oh wait, no, it's actually Moonlight, guys. Stop cheering us and start cheering somebody else." That was a really great moment. Yeah. Okay, that brings us to number 1. So my pick for my very favorite Best Picture winning film of all time, kind of like Casablanca, I'm not going to wow anybody with my originality, but I went with the winner from the 35th Academy Awards in 1963, Lawrence of Arabia.
Okay.
Big Lawrence of Arabia guy. I just am a serious contender for the best shot movie of all time. I think just an spectacularly beautiful movie. Very very good muscular story too, which with also has a lot of subtlety going on too. Just the craftsmanship of it, the way that it's shot, the performances, the sleekness of the script, and it's just a hell of a movie. Love Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah, that was one of my cuts too.
Good pick. So that leaves me. I'm really not going off the board here, but it's the number one, The Godfather. Hard to argue with it. Fantastic film. That's the winner of the 45th Academy Awards, which it's got a pretty competitive field. So the story of that Oscars was really The Godfather versus Cabaret, which really like Cabaret won the most awards that night. But also in the best picture group was Deliverance, which is also another fantastic film. So it had some stiff competitions. My favorite of the two Godfather movies, I'm not even going to acknowledge the third one.
That's a code.
Yeah.
Also, The Immigrants was nominated that year, which is maybe less famous, but I really like The Immigrants a lot. And I gotta say, I think the Oscars got it wrong. Cabaret's better. I'm more of a Cabaret guy myself. I'm not anti-Godfather. I like Godfather a lot, but I prefer Cabaret, and it's not Godfather's not my favorite Coppola pick. I would go with The One from the Heart as my favorite Coppola. I definitely have lots of respect for The Godfather all the same, even if the Oscars did get it wrong that year. All right, that just leaves you, Sean.
Yeah, for my number one, I have The Godfather Part 2.
Oh, I like it.
Godfather and Godfather Part 2 were like, I think, the movies that really thrust me into being the annoying kind of movie fan that I am. Like watching director commentaries and wanting to know how stuff was made. Like Godfather 2 in particular was really big for that. I think that was the first one I had a hard copy of and can watch the commentary, and is one of the most seen movies, I think, in my life.
Nice.
So it's a great movie. I love it. That year, Coppola was up against himself because The Conversation.
Yeah, Conversation, which is his best movie, I would say. So they also got it wrong that year. Should have been The Conversation.
Nice.
Oh yeah, Chinatown was that year as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, those mid-70s years really good. The next year, the 1975 Oscars, I think this was the one that, Sean, you were thinking of, the Best Picture nominees were One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Barry Lyndon, Dog Day Afternoon, Jaws, Nashville.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So
that's
sick.
a nuts lineup of 5 movies. That's probably got to be the best year ever for Best Picture nominees right there. Though there's some really good ones in the 1940s too, but I don't think anything can top 1975. And they picked the worst one, I think, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which doesn't mean that I think that's a bad movie. It's just compared to the competition.
Yeah.
Sean, which movies did you have the hardest time cutting? What are some runners up that you really wanted to get in?
The Departed was a big hard cut for me because that was one. I don't know. That came out when I think I was like 20-ish, and I watched it a lot. So it has a lot of like not wholesome but pleasant memories, I guess.
Yeah.
Lawrence of Arabia wasn't like a super hard cut. I do like that movie, but I think it was probably the first one I cut out there. But yeah, The Departed, I think, was the most like emotional one.
How about you, Craig?
Yeah, for movies that were tough cuts, we've talked about a few of them. So Spotlight, Birdman, Godfather 2 was on there, No Country for Old Men. That we haven't talked about, I think Gladiator was actually one. I really like it's an epic. It's a sports drama to a degree. It is a huge production. So it kind of like hits all these notes that, I love to see. It's a movie that I saw a lot growing up, and but yeah, just couldn't find a spot for it. Another one was Silence of the Lambs, which is another movie that I have seen a lot of. I like the story of it, kind of breaking type for the Oscars and in awarding a horror film. So those are kind of the key ones that fell off that I didn't get a chance to put on my list.
Yeah, I think the ones that I had the hardest time cutting were definitely Rebecca, which won in 1941. A contender for one of my favorite Hitchcock movies, and I really, really love that. So I would have liked to have got that in. Also would have liked to have found space for Kramer versus Kramer, which won in 1980. Lots of love for that movie.
Oh, Ordinary People was another one that was on my list.
Okay. Well, I think a lot of people who are listening to this episode are probably more interested in hearing which movies we hate. It's more fun.
Do you have anything that you think is going to be like really spicy, like drop our subscriber count back into the single digits?
on my picks?
Yeah.
I probably have one. Yeah,
okay.
Probably. Oh,
yeah. I hope there's
I
at
would
least
expect
one.
yours too.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything super hot or spicy, but I certainly tried to pick maybe my most annoying takes.
Nice. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Should I get us started?
Yeah.
So our bottom 5 most hated Best Picture winners of all time. Number 5, I'm not going to surprise either of you guys by saying this, I think, but I put Coda on the list.
Okay. Yeah.
Coda, which won the
Godfather
very
3.
recently. Coda, which won in 2022, just a few years ago, the 94th Oscars. Just nothing especially like sinister or disagreeable about the film. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way how like blandly inoffensive and sentimental it is, and just kind of a nothing movie where it feels like not a single shot or line of dialogue really even rises to the level of feeling like an artistic decision. So almost feel bad taking pot shots at it, but somebody has to do that because otherwise nobody would even remember Coda exists. It's not surprising that such a nothing movie just kind of evaporated into thin air the second the producers walked off stage with their trophies.
It's really just sort of tacked on to the end.
The Coda?
Oh
the Coda
there we
at the end? Okay. Yeah. All right. Craig, what's your number 5 for most hated Best Picture winners?
The Green Book, similar to all the reasons that you said, Dylan. I don't think that this is going to be... I wouldn't be shocked to see this one on everyone's list. This is like such a bland film. Has probably aged poorly. I haven't revisited it in order to evaluate that, but it's a nothing movie that feels like an Oscar grab, and I don't like it.
Okay.
I will say that The Green Book is the most recent Best Picture winner I haven't seen. It's actually one that I never got around to seeing. I think the only one in like the past 20 years that I actually never saw it. Probably never will. But if I did see it, I suspect I would completely agree with you.
I have a couple thoughts on Green Book.
Yeah.
So I don't find it as terrible as everybody thinks. I don't know what was up that year. It doesn't feel like a Best Picture, but as just sort of like a wholesome comedy, it's fine. And it is worth it to see Viggo Mortensen play an Italian shithead. And like in one scene where there's a voiceover of his clumsy letter to his wife, he just folds a pizza and houses the entire thing. Like if you just kind of watch it as a shitty comedy, I think it's like fine, but it's not Best Picture material. Like it didn't even
Brendan Fraser, the whale, didn't do that.
Oh man, I hate the whales.
It's not a Best Picture winner. It's the time and place. That was, I think, maybe the weakest lineup we've seen in the like contemporary 7 to 10 movies nominated for Best Picture era, because it was a pretty weak list. The Green Book beat out Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Roma, A Star Is Born, and Vice. Roma is really the only one I'd really go to bat for in that whole list.
Yeah.
Favorite.
Not having seen Green Book's the only one I haven't seen. No, I've never seen Bohemian Rhapsody actually, but I feel like I have.
We have to watch like some variation of that every single year.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to number
number 5.
Yeah.
So this one is probably my most outside.
All right, let's hear it.
And it's at number 5 because I don't hate it that much. But it's The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
Oh,
nice!
Hey.
Let's go!
Wow,
So,
nice.
It's all right. I'm just really stoked that we have the same movie on a favorite and least favorite.
I understand why people like the Lord of the Rings movies. I think they are good bits of filmmaking, right? Lots of good technical filmmaking. But I just find them so fucking boring. And every time I've ever watched
I'm sorry,
them,
you're breaking up. You're breaking up for me.
I'm just wishing they were over and I was watching something else. I don't want to be watching the Lord of the Rings movies. They're not for me. That's for other people to enjoy.
The Return of the King especially was notorious for ending like 12 times too, right? Like it has like a lot.
Yeah.
And that's just the regular. I've only seen the regular version. I can
also
imagine
say-
what
The
the
Fellowship is the
extended version
best one, but yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to half bake a take about how this was like the harbinger of the IP Colossus taking over, but I couldn't get my heart into it. I just find the movies boring. That's kind of the whole of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good reason, honestly. Just if it's boring, it's not for you. All right, let's move on to number 4. So my fourth most hated movie. I went back a little ways for this. I feel like it's kind of a fun exercise to try to decide, like, when's the first time the Oscars gave Best Picture to a bad movie? I know some people would say they did it the second year when they gave the Oscar to Broadway Melody. I actually like Broadway Melody, so I don't agree, especially now that we have a restored version of it that has a color sequence that was believed to be lost until it was randomly uploaded on YouTube by an account called Pizza Flix last year. So now we have the full movie, and it's cool. It's fun. So I would say that the first bad Best Picture winner came at the 6 Oscars in 1934 when they gave it to Cavalcade. I don't know if you guys know Cavalcade.
No.
Understandable if you don't. It's just it's a melodrama about an upper class British family to whom the early 20th century happens. It's very mawkish. It's very tawdry and sentimental, and it's based on a Noel Coward play. It's just not very good. Just an overly sentimental, goopy, gooey period drama. And it's made worse by the fact that it was up against some really good movies too that year. Like there were some good nominees in 1934. They actually had a 17-month eligibility period for the Oscars that year because they changed the date for the Oscars, which made more films eligible. So some of the movies that were nominated included George Cukor's Little Woman, Frank Capra's Lady for a Day, A Farewell to Arms, 42nd Street, She Done Him Wrong, which I know sounds like a Tyler Perry movie, but that's actually like a really good Mae West comedy. That they picked Cavalcade is really weird, and probably the first truly bad decision that they made in Oscars history. Also, fun fact: Cavalcade was apparently Hitler's favorite movie. That doesn't affect how I feel about it. I just think it's interesting to know that Hitler loved Cavalcade for some reason. Do with that as you will, Craig.
Yeah, so my fourth least favorite is the 74th Academy Awards winner, A Beautiful Mind. I just, again, boring Oscar grabby movie, uninspired performance from Russell Crowe, and just I don't really like it. I mean, probably Ron Howard's worst movie.
That's a bold statement because he's got like 80 movies, I think.
Yeah, well, the worst movie of his that I have seen.
One thing I like saying is that I think Ron Howard's been on an absolute tear the past like 15 years or so. I really like his like kind of trashy B movies he's been making since basically Rush. And his last one, Eden, was a really fun melodrama, I thought too. I really liked Solo. I think that's my favorite Star Wars movie.
You're a big
really
hillbilly elegy guy, aren't you?
That's the one I haven't seen. So I'll withhold judgment for now, but I trust him. But before like the last like 15 years, like, yeah, you could miss me with any Ron Howard movie. And I agree with you. A Beautiful Mind is kind of a cheap, annoying movie that I don't have much love for.
I feel very justified in never having seen A Beautiful Mind. I was pre-bored by it. For my
All right,
number
what do you got?
4, I think it's from the 59th, Platoon.
Oh, okay.
I find Platoon, again, kind of boring. My least favorite shoot and cry Vietnam movie. Like it doesn't have the like insane poetic nonsense of Apocalypse Now or like the Kubrickian terror of Full Metal Jacket. It gives me nothing but shoot and cry. Don't need it.
Okay.
Oh shit. I forgot. I already forgot something. I tried to pick the movie that I thought should win the year that all of my worst ones won.
Yeah.
I couldn't actually. I hadn't seen any other movies from Platoon's year, so I don't have one. But for Lord of the Rings, Master and Commander should have won that year. Way better movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great movie.
But Lost in Translation was that year too, I think.
Oh, okay.
Lost in Translation probably should have won, but Master and Commander also kicks ass. Those are two really good movies.
Yeah, I could go with you. I've still got to go Master and Commander.
Yeah, fair play.
I don't have one for Platoon because I don't know anything. So I'm just going to say that Goodfellas should have won the year that it was nominated instead.
So Platoon, I'm looking at it right now, and there's some good movies here. So I've never seen The Mission, actually, but the Merchant Ivory, A Room Where the View is really good. Children of a Lesser God is really good, really, really good. Richard Hurt performance, I like it a lot. And Hannah and Her Sisters, best Woody Allen movie. Love Hannah and Her Sisters. It's Woody at his finest. So that looks like a pretty good year for me. Platoon, I probably haven't seen it since I was a teenager, so I don't really have a big take on it. I remember liking it at the time, but if I rewatch it today, I'm not sure. But I'm generally very sympathetic to Oliver Stone, so I probably would like it. I'm a good audience for him. Even at his like most unsubtle, I'm digging what he's putting down because it's unsubtle. I like him being
back and
ham-fisted.
forth with him. It depends. Like I love like JFK. I think is amazing. One of my favorites.
JFK rules.
But yeah, sometimes I just don't want the Stone.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Sometimes you just got to pass a stone. So I'm going to move on to my number 3 most hated Best Picture winner, the Oscars of 1996. You know where I'm going with this? 68th, if you want to know. That's Braveheart. I gotta throw Braveheart on there. Yeah, Braveheart sucks. It's like I don't care that it's like super historically inaccurate. Like whatever, movies can do whatever they want to do. But it's just, I just find it's like it's like not very 90s kind of machismo dull. And I'm just not entertained by it at all. And the thing is, I actually really like The Passion of the Christ and Apocalypto. Maybe I shouldn't say really like, but I like those movies because they're made by an insane person and they're wild films. But Mel wasn't insane enough when he made Braveheart. Braveheart is just a boring macho American 90s movie that's kind of dull. He got better when he truly lost his mind, and Braveheart is a bad pick for Best Picture, I think.
Interesting lineup that it was up against here. I see Apollo 13, Sense and Sensibility, The Postman, and Babe.
What? The Postman?
Il Postino.
Oh, okay.
The Italian movie, yeah.
Not Costner's second post-apocalypse, which also not as bad as people say. Not good, but not as bad as people say.
Will we see Costner appear in this list? We'll see, I guess. Let's pass it over to you, Craig. What's your number 3?
So my number 3 we've already discussed. It's Coda again.
Nice. I'll drink to that.
Yeah, there's a trend of just like super boring movies on my list. My number 2 is going to be similarly just boring and cheap.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't put Coda any higher in my list because it wasn't interesting enough to put any higher than number 5. All right, Sean, what do you got?
I have from the 72nd Academy Awards, American Beauty. A movie that I enjoyed and thought was quite profound when I was a teenager, and then revisiting it probably 8 or 10 years ago now, I just found it to be like empty and boring and shallow, and like not even the best Sam Mendes film about suburban ennui, which is Revolutionary Road. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a kind of like all empty calories of a movie, you know. But it's like a chocolate bar that says it's got protein in it, so it's healthy. It appears to be like a movie with something to say, and I just think it doesn't have much for me at all.
I haven't seen that in a long time, so I don't have a very strong opinion on it. I definitely liked it, when I first saw it, as I was probably a teenager too. One thing that's interesting for me about it being a Best Picture winner is it really just broke the streak of period pieces. You had like 5 period pieces before, and they went back to doing period pieces after. I always like when they pick a movie like set in the present day. So I thought it's interesting that in 1999 they just gave it to a present day suburban drama in a period when they weren't doing that very much. But would I like the movie if I revisited today? I'll probably find out eventually. It's piqued my interest. All right, so we're getting into the bottom 2. My second most hated Best Picture winner is another recent one from 2023. 95th Oscars, Everything, Everywhere, All
Okay, I was hoping that this would be on
once. I just find it obnoxious. I don't have the patience for that kind of onslaught of so random, like very millennial coded epic bacon holds up spork bullshit. It's just the cheap like 9gag style jokes combined with like a Tumblr style preciousness and like a forced sense of mirth, and the like digital slop visuals just almost seem designed to distract us from a story which is blandly unchallenging, just about, how family is good and you should be patient with your family members and things are fine the way they are. It's just cheap emotions that merely celebrate the status quo underneath all this annoying, cheap, bad humor. Don't like it at all.
So I have never seen this movie.
What?
I didn't see it because I talked to you about this movie and I'm like, this movie is like fucking not for me. I don't want to see it. And since then, the only reason that I have like been compelled to watch this movie is to fight with people online about it.
It's a good reason. That's why I watch half the movies I watch. To fight with you guys specifically. All right, Craig, what do you have at number 2?
At number 2, I've got Crash, which was the 78th Oscars. It's in I think a pretty good field here. And it was up against Brokeback Mountain, Capote, Good Night and Good Luck, and Munich, which like all of those movies are better than Crash. Just never really been like a Paul Haggis guy, and I just think that this is again like it's pretty like ham-fisted and uninspired, and I don't like it.
So I figured Crash would come up at some point because it tends to in discussions of worst Best Picture winners. I haven't seen it since it came out, so I don't have like fresh memories of it, but I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad in my memories. To me, I thought it was like, at the time, I thought it was like a pretty, kind of good movie just about like different types of very frustrated Americans struggling to live in the same society with each other. I think that its reputation as a very bad Best Picture winner comes, as these reputations often do, from the competition it was against, because like you said, it was up against Brokeback Mountain. And we know that was the tightest Best Picture race in Oscars history in terms of votes. And we know also that Brokeback Mountain was definitely handicapped by some people not wanting to vote for a gay movie. Like we have at least 2 Oscars voters from the time. We have Jack Lemmon and I think Ernest Borgnine both like went on record saying, I'm not going to watch that movie because I don't watch gay movies or something like that. So if
Jack
a couple people, the paragon of manliness.
Has he seen the ending of Some Like It Hot?
Yeah. So we could assume there's probably more like, this was before that the Academy revamped their voting membership to try to make it less geriatric. So I'm sure they weren't the only people who thought that way. So it's absolutely true that Crash was the victim of like discrimination against a way more deserving movie, because Brokeback Mountain is an awesome movie in my opinion and is way better than Crash. But I think like when we talked about Shakespeare in Love versus Saving Private Ryan, and how Shakespeare in Love has this reputation of an undeserving Best Picture winner because the narrative that Saving Private Ryan should have won and had it robbed got kind of pushed very hard. I think that this is a case of it, not saying you specifically, Craig, but the general public's idea that Crash is a bad Best Picture winner comes from the legacy of it being up against a more deserving film that legitimately in this case did get robbed for unfair reasons because of it. I don't think Crash is that bad. That's all I'm going to say, but I haven't revisited in years. So maybe if I rewatched it now, I'd be like, oh shit, actually it is. Then
yeah, I mean, this is coming from like my feelings of watching it at the time. It really like just put me off of Paul Haggis. I've never even seen like Casino Royale because of his association with that film. And
you're missing it.
You know what? I probably am, but at the time I was just like, I can't get into this guy. So, I don't think that I was like, I watched the Oscars, obviously I was like into it, but I feel like I was not impacted by the storylines and the media. I wasn't in touch with what was going on there. I just remember just really thinking that this was really a ham-fisted movie, and I was outraged at the fact that it won that year. I'm not gonna revisit it. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's not as bad as I remember.
Yeah, maybe you're right too. I don't know. I probably won't revisit it either, to be fair.
I'm gonna watch it for the first time and see if it's like my opinion on Green Book. Yeah, it's a movie.
Yeah,
I hope you get the Cronenberg one, because that's way better.
That movie rules.
That movie does rule.
Yeah, it does. All right, Sean, what do you got for number two?
My number two. I forgot to say what should have won instead of American Beauty, which is The Insider. The wrong Russell Crowe movies kept winning. The Insider was the one.
Yeah, The Insider rules.
But my number two most hated is from the 67th Academy Awards, Forrest Gump. Fuck Forrest Gump. I watched it all the time when I was a kid. We had it on VHS.
Everybody did. That was the one VHS that just spawned at everybody's house.
It's like it is to growing up in the 90s what Frampton Comes Alive was to growing up in the 70s, right? Just standard issue. This is in your house. But like, okay, so I should say that I don't think that like generational politics or complaints are like a very good lens of historical analysis. But that being said, fuck this like boomer protagonist of history bullshit movie. Yeah. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. I hate it. Even the guy who wrote the book hated it because he wrote a sequel novel that I think the first line of, I don't have the quote here, but the first line is something to the effect of like, don't ever let anyone make a movie about your life.
Well, he got screwed over by Hollywood accounting too. They did the classic thing where like, oh, actually our movie made no money when you take away publicity costs, so you don't get anything.
I mean, we grossed $8 billion, but
yeah. All right. I like it. I like it so much that's my number one. So my number one is Forrest Gump.
Okay.
I also absolutely hate Forrest Gump. I hate its disingenuous kind of photos on a steakhouse wall version of American history. I think we're on the same page here. I feel it's kind of just like glibly, like unthinkingly reactionary in the way it represents America as something that just like automatically guides a white male idiot to success. Well, you know, as though it was just, you know, natural destiny, no political systems or anything, just designed that way, all while also taking kind of sniggering pot shots at feminists and black radicals. And it's just kind of the ultimate 90s opus of just a very fatuous and proudly ignorant American self-regard, and just an awful movie in my opinion too. So cheers, Sean. I'm 100% with you on that.
Yeah, you know, this one didn't even like register on my radar. Like I haven't seen this movie in a really long time, but yeah, I feel like I've got a soft spot for Zemeckis, but I'm just looking at like some of the movies that he has directed, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of shit on here. But I really love Back to the Future. I really love Contact. I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So,
I didn't know he did
but yeah,
Contact.
aside from that, I'm not going to defend him. He has a color.
I think Zemeckis is cool when he like gets to play with his toys, like Roger Rabbit or did the I don't remember the movie he recently did where it's supposed to just be from like one setup and Tom Hanks is aging or something. But like if he's just like playing with technology, that seems to be fine.
Yeah. What Lies Beneath is kind of good, actually. That's one movie he made where it isn't like CGI gimmicks. That's kind of nice. Yeah. It's Harrison
that's
Ford,
the one that
Michelle Pfeiffer thriller from like, I don't know, 99 or something like that, 2000. I don't know.
So
whatever.
isn't the trivia for that was that they shot that while they were waiting for Tom Hanks to grow his beard during like a break in the Castaway shooting?
Oh, really? Could be.
Kind of like same crew as Castaway. They
like how Spielberg shot Schindler's List while he was waiting for the T-Rex to grow a beard during Jurassic Park.
yeah.
Now it's just inflation, Craig. All right, so that's my number one. Craig, what is your number one? Let's have it. What's your most hated Best Picture winner?
Okay, so this is the winner of the 96th Academy Awards, Oppenheimer.
Nice. Dropping an atomic bomb.
Yeah,
I like
little bit of a spicy take, but this movie is similar to what your opinions on Everything Everywhere all at once. Just like really, really appealing to a certain like segment of the population that thinks so highly of its own taste. And I don't think that it is good. It's long, it's well paced, but it's just like, I don't know, not a great performance from Cillian Murphy in my opinion. It's just kind of a very forgettable film. I hate how it's talked about as this like fantastic epic film. It's just excess and it's not a lot of substance. I really dislike that movie, and I think that there's a lot better movies in the Best Picture list. Anatomy of a Fall is way better. The Holdovers is way better.
Barbie is way better.
Barbie is way better. The Zone of Interest is way better. Maestro is way better. I do not like this, and it's mostly because I don't like Christopher Nolan.
Barbie is way better. Barbie is way better.
I don't like how Christopher Nolan is held up as like this modern day legend. I think it's kind of bullshit. I don't think he's that great. Sorry, I don't.
Nice. I'm here for it. I like it. I love the spicy bird of God take. I'd probably put Oppenheimer in like the mid Best Picture winner range. I definitely don't have the hate you do for it, but for me, it is like, it's the kind of movie that I could see myself like catching it on TV and I'd be like really hooked and be like, oh yeah, this is a lot of fun. But that's a different category. Yeah. But I do think there's a lot of things that are super well made about it, but that's a different thing from it being like an earth-shatteringly brilliant movie, which you're right. A certain segment of the population really took it as, and I'm like, nah, this is like a fun dad movie that you could catch on a Saturday afternoon.
This is a case of like, it's not the band I hate, it's their fans. Like just like fuck Christopher Nolan fans. I hate you. I'm a hater.
The thing that stuck with me the most about Oppenheimer, and I think this speaks to its quality as a movie, was the fan edit someone made of the ending where they put What I've Done by Linkin Park over it. And just timed it like a very...
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. I mean, just search it. You'll find it on YouTube. But it feels more Christopher Nolan than the actual movie.
Okay, so we're just down to you, Sean. What is your most hated Best Picture winner of all time?
Still on the same page with you. I have Everything Everywhere All at Once at number
Nice,
1.
Let's go.
Fucking stupid movie that I hate. I saw this in the cinema with a very dear friend of mine, and this was a super rare experience where I hated it and he really liked it, which almost never happens. And like, the whole theater, I could tell, really liked it just on the vibe. And the whole movie, I just thought it was awful. The movie has no respect for me. It thinks I'm a dumb baby. It's just a bunch of it's a pre-chewed chicken nuggets of a movie. It has no respect for me. I hate it.
Love it.
I will say, just to soften the blow, it is the best Marvel movie I've ever seen.
Okay.
Is it actually a Marvel movie?
In everything but actually being
be
produced by Marvel. Yeah.
Okay, I just need to know whether to hit the
button. All right. Sean, were there any movies you really wanted to put on your list that you didn't find space for? Any runners up or runners down, I guess?
Oh, I should say Tar, of course, should have won instead of Everywhere All at Once. What did I cut from the hatreds here? Actually, not much. I found it hard to find things I really hated. Braveheart was in there that got cut. And Ben-Hur. I don't like Ben-Hur. Fuck that shit.
Oh, that's a little spicy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's mostly being bored of it on TV as a kid.
Right.
But it did make the hate section of my list here.
I'm down with Ben-Hur. I'm not with you on that. There's the homoerotic subtext, which I think Gore Vidal inserted into the movie that I think adds some stuff to it. There's stuff to like there. I feel like it's
I'm willing to revisit as an adult.
Yeah, in terms of Cecil B. DeMille movies, which he isn't the most intellectually rich filmmaker out there, but I feel like there's some stuff in the characters of their stories that you can chew out a bit in that one.
All right.
Craig, did you have any runners down?
Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close is just
that never won Best Picture,
didn't it?
No.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. Well then,
is that a Jonathan Safran Foer thing?
It might have gotten extremely close, but I don't think it won.
Didn't make much noise.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it did for some reason.
Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, but no cigar.
Okay, yeah, no, I guess I'm wrong. Well, still, fuck that movie. I don't think that there was anything else that was on my list that missed.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm a lover, not a hater, so I can't say that there's a lot of movies that I really. The King's Speech, I would have liked to have had room for the King's Speech, because the King's Speech fucking sucks too. That's another one of those past. One of those 21st century's picks, which is just kind of slop.
Oh, The Artist won that year. Okay, I never saw The Artist.
That one's missing for me too. That's another 21st century black hole. Yeah, so I think we've learned a lot about each other and cinema history and friendship. So we always like to end an episode of Oscars Outsider by talking about one of the movies nominated for Best Picture. We've talked about 5 out of 10. We are at the halfway part, and we said that today we would talk about Bugonia.
Yeah, I shaved my head for it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you didn't put all the white cream on your face, though. We could pause the recording if you want to do that now, Craig. You want to fix that? Let me start off by saying I don't know if I'm just an idiot here, but I just realized a few days ago, I just realized that the movie's not named after a flower. This whole time I thought it was Bugonia was the name of a flower, and I just realized very recently that the flower is B-E-G Bugonia, and that the title of this movie B-U-G Bugonia is an entirely different word. That means a totally different thing. And am I stupid or did you guys not realize that either?
No, I did not know that. I knew that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
What does it mean?
It's a ancient Greek ritual mentioned in Virgil that involves sacrificing a bull or a cow, I think a bull, so that bees will be birthed from its rotting corpse that will replenish your hives.
Oh.
Which makes sense for the movie, kind of, and both its themes and the bee imagery. So I feel like that's actually a very cool title, and definitely a way better title than the title of the Korean movie that it's inspired by, Save the Green Planet.
Yeah.
I just thought that Greek guy couldn't spell.
Yeah, I didn't even get the fact that it was spelled differently from the flower, but yeah, I think that's an awesome title. Now that I know that it just sounds cool. Begonia is a cool sounding word. It looks cool in that cool font on the posters. Yorgos movies always have really good posters. Sean, let's start with you. Does Yorgos Lanthimos' latest live up to its poster?
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I usually like Yorgos, although I didn't see, what was his last one? Kinds of kindness.
Yeah, I missed that one.
So I haven't seen that yet, but yeah, I liked Bugonia. I did not know that it was a remake of a Korean movie until the end of watching it. But I had a great time. It is my pick for, or the one I should say, I want to win for score at the Academy Awards. Loved the music in it. Very, very brash, exciting score that I like.
Yeah, I was really happy to see it get a nomination. I wasn't really expecting that for Yurskin Fendrix's big score, which kind of reminds me of like a classic Bernard Herrmann Hollywood score, and I feel like that adds a lot to the movie. So I definitely enjoyed that. Craig, what did you think about Bugonia?
I really liked it. I think like going into it, I was worried that Yorgos Lanthimos was like going to start rubbing me kind of the wrong way, just getting a little too cute with things. And I was very like pleasantly surprised. I didn't see Kinds of Kindness either, but just coming kind of off of Poor Things, which I did like, but it was kind of like teetering towards like where are we going with this? I was worried that we were going to get like a little bit of a Guillermo del Toro trajectory with me, where like I kind of liked him back around when he was doing Pan's Labyrinth, and is just getting a little bit too cute, and it's almost like entering into Tim Burton territory. And but I really like this.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. I've been, I think, more anti-Yorgos than you guys have lately. I've been like souring on his movies more and more. I didn't like Poor Things, so I definitely went into the theaters being like, all right, this guy's gonna be back on his bullshit. And was really surprised by how much I liked the movie, because I liked it a lot. I thought it actually did kind of speak to the moment. I think that one of the nice developments of 2025 in film is that we have seen a certain number of filmmakers actually seem to try to take a stab at dealing with like what it feels like to live today in an age saturated with conspiracy theories and AI and multiple layers of fake bullshit and things that feel like conspiracy theories but are actually true, or feel like they're true but are actually conspiracy theories, and all that stuff. Eddington was the most literal movie to do that. I think the latest Cronenberg movie, The Shrouds and the Clouds, which is the rhyming latest Kiyoshi Kurosawa movie, are a couple ones that did that well. I would also say Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is a movie that deals with the modern age in that way too.
Zootopia too.
And that was a good movie. No Oscar nominations, Sam.
Zootopia 2?
Zootopia 2? Oh, sorry. I thought you said that's a good one too. You said Zootopia 2. Maybe. I haven't seen it. But I didn't really expect that from this movie, but I did think that like some of the dialogue has that tension between like somebody who is on to what's going on in the world but completely misinterprets what the actual meaning of it is, versus somebody who knows the actual meaning and knows how to weaponize it for power, but can't grasp the depths of the conspiracy that has been unleashed on the world. It was something that, if it doesn't exactly speak to the current moment, it at least kind of mutters something that rhymes, that feels like it felt somewhat contemporary in a way that I didn't expect. Exactly. And mostly I was just really, really pleased by the two-hander acting duel between Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone. I thought they both were awesome in this movie. And considering the heart of the movie is really just a power struggle between the two of them, I thought they both completely knock it out of the park. And it just worked for me. It had one of the things I like the least about Yorgos is that I feel like there's a lot of kind of misanthropy that creeps into his movies.
Yeah,
I think we do get that. We definitely get that
totally.
in the final act, and some of that doesn't sit well with me, because it also feels like he will abandon whatever his text might be working towards in favor of just kind of a cruelty, or a dismissiveness, or a kind of giving up on the human race, and no movie of his has such a direct giving up in the human race ending as this one. But before that, I thought that the tension in the dialogue and the performances was super good. The music, as you mentioned, was good. The way it was shot by Robbie Ryan, who's shot a few of Yorgos's movies, was really good. No fisheye lenses this time. It's just like the score, we're kind of like doing some classic Hollywood stuff. Like there's just some classic composition, which is really good. It feels like some of the just kind of bare bones of the filmmaking is very strong in this movie. Like he's kind of putting some of the bullshit on hold to just kind of make a strong Hollywood movie and let the performances do what they do, let the script do what it does, let these two very, very good actors just kind of have at it and build the tension on the set. And it worked for me. It worked really well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think like it maybe feels the most contemporary out of all the films that we have seen. Maybe more so than One Battle After Another in terms of actually like in
One Battle After Another is putting up a lot of points on the board lately in terms of like resonating with the current moment.
Yeah, but like the fact that it is looking at these like conspiracies and being like looking at them as like this manifestation of like this pain, this human pain that people are experiencing, and that's like kind of where the origin story for a lot of these things are, I think, is like a really interesting treatment of this, and how fragmented it is, and how it like comes to a head where you've got this one individual that is like in extreme pain and like talking to Emma Stone's character, and she's like spitting back like corporate speak at him. It's just like such a great, like you said, a two-handed performance here between the two of them that really like captures the moment. I love it.
Yeah, I was very surprised by how much you liked it. Maybe the first Yorgos English language movie where I thought it was as good as its poster.
Plemons missing for this. What do you think?
Not surprising, because I think they had to run him for Best Actor, right?
Totally.
They were running him for Best Actor. If they had tried to do a bit of category fraud and run him as supporting, maybe he could have snuck in, but Best Actor, there was just like, it felt like the five that got nominated have kind of locked up in advance. There just wasn't any wiggle room for any surprises to squeak in there. I would have been happy to see him in there because, again, I thought he did a great job in the movie. And I stand by his wife, Kristen Dunst, who posted about how he should have got a nomination, which made some people angry. But fucking, I think she's allowed to do that because, I don't know, because they're like, you can't say
they're
that.
just jealous they don't have a Kristen Dunst in their corner.
You're not allowed to like want an Oscar for acting. That's kind of the rules around this. Like that's why Timothée Chalamet is losing all these points. It's
like Conclave. You have to pretend you don't actually want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
I would think it was loserish behavior from Kristen Dunst if her husband was like Tom Holland or something, like somebody who you're like, what the hell are you talking about? But he actually did give a really good performance. So I'm like, yeah, you could say that about your partner for sure.
Who would you take out for Plemons?
You know what? That's a hard one because I do actually think the performances are all really good. It would be controversial, and I would be upset about it too, probably, to take out Michael B. Jordan, but he might be the weakest link there. I do like Michael B. Jordan a lot. I think he's got like real like movie star charisma. But in terms of the strength of the performance, putting it next to the other ones up there, Hawke, Chalamet, DiCaprio. I would probably have to take out Michael B. Jordan if you force me to take out somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be the same for me. Yeah. I haven't seen The Secret Agent yet, so maybe Mora sucks, but probably not.
You can't say that, Craig. We're Brazilian. Yeah, no, he actually rules in that movie. Any final thoughts on Bugonia?
I watched this at a friend's house, and this is the movie where I finally both realized he had it on and convinced him to turn off motion smoothing. So thank you to Bugonia. So I was like, why does this movie look like shit? It should not look like shit.
Yeah.
We figured it out.
Great. That was an important thing. I thank you. Tom Cruise thanks you.
It really is stark how bad it is.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is absolutely right. It's insane. My TV's from 2009. I've never had this problem.
Yeah, I notice it in bars all the time. Where maybe the real problem is that I'm watching too many movies in bars, but they always have motion smoothing on.
What bar did you catch Forrest Gump in?
That is the kind of
the
thing
Bubba Gump in Times Square.
All right. Any final thoughts, you guys?
No.
Fuck Forrest Gump. Fuck everything, everywhere, all at once.
Hell yeah. Fuck both of those things.
Go Tar.
Yeah. Tar should have just won every year since it came out. It should continuously be winning. Yeah.
Retroactive Tar wins until the end of the decade to right the ship.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, Craig, Sean, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again on a future episode of Oscars Outsider very soon. Anything you want to leave our listeners with? Anywhere they can find you if you want to be found?
No, I got nothing. Lovely to be here, though. Thank you.
I would just like our listeners or viewers to hit the subscribe button and leave us a comment. Tell us what your least favorite Best Picture winners are, and tell your friends about us. Tell your friends that we're so much fun to just put on in the car and listen to us trash your favorite movies.
Yeah, and tell all the Brazilians in your life that we love Brazil and we are recording from there right now. And also tell us what your favorite Best Picture winner is if it's not one of the ones we picked, and we will reply to tell you that you're wrong. I'm Dylan Ferguson. You can find me on Substack. I have a new piece up there about the chronology of water and the Testament of Anne Lee, two really awesome movies that I saw recently, which you should also go see if you have the chance. And probably I'll be ranking my Best Picture nominees at some point soon, but we are doing it one at a time here on Oscars Outsider, so don't forget to smash that subscribe button, and we'll see you very soon.